Okay, good morning, everyone. This is 11:31 on the dot. You're welcome once again to another Career Guardians webinar. And today we're going to be looking at the impact of artificial intelligence, that is AI, machine learning, data analytics, and data science skill on your career. And with that interesting topic, we have two speakers, Caleb Oluwaseyi and Obona Jackson Aja. These two professionals are going to take us through that window of the impact of these data science skills on our career in the oil and gas industry and across certain aspects of the industry that we can all identify with. So I believe it's an opportunity for, especially where we have burning concerns or questions that we know that will change the perspective of these data science skills and careers as professionals. So I will introduce myself. My name is Anastasia Kubayo. I am the Career Guardians Chairperson for SPE Lagos, that is Section 61, and I'm here to moderate this session. Next slide, please. So this is just a breakdown of the activities we would have for this program of events, this webinar. We'll just spend a few minutes welcoming everyone, just like we're doing. We'll have a safety brief. There'll be the introduction of speakers, then the webinar presentation in full. Then there'll be a summary of the presentation based on highlights and pertinent points that were shared, that will be shared during the presentation. Then there's the opportunity for question and answers, and then our announcements within the board of SPE, and also a vote of thanks. So let's kick it off so that we have sufficient time for the webinar presentation and also sufficient time for the Q&A session. Just like anything, safety is key to our environment and even as us as individuals. So for the safety brief today, we're going to talk about workplace safety. When we go to the office, we just feel that, okay, fine, nothing bad could happen here, that everything bad is what happens possibly at the flow station, at the rig site, or where the actual operations occur, but actually safety is key within the office. Many of us work in buildings where currently we have open office layouts where you see your co-workers face to face, unlike before where we have individual offices where you walk into individual offices to see each other. So with that kind of layout, you have exposures of things like cable connections, sockets, open sockets. Then you have where we have the printer, where you have the coffee machine, or where we have even our storage. And safety at work for these areas needs to be recognized. Where you sit is important. When you sit down at your desk, where do these cables connect to? Are your feet getting in the way of the cable connection? Is there a trip and fall hazard? Trip and fall hazards do happen in the office as well. You could actually be walking and you trip over a cable and fall, or there might be a long extension that may not be covered or buried maybe under the carpet or within a conduit under the carpet, such that you may be walking and you'll be trying to avoid it, but if you're absent-mindedly walking across that path, there is a tendency for you to trip and fall. Also, where our offices have a combination of tiles and carpets, in the event that maybe a cleaning activity is going on and we don't have a cleaning sign, there's a tendency for us to trip and fall over a wet surface. So these are things that we need to keep our eyes and our bodies alert to when we get into the office or the workplace environment. Also, because a lot of offices are in skyrise, especially in Lagos, the tendency for us to have occasional elevator failures happen. So there's a need to now use the staircase. So we should be careful not to run on the staircase, and also to hold the stair rail, that is the staircase rail, as we climb up or come down the staircase. We should try avoiding using the wall, because we could trip off on our balance and fall down the staircase. Also, I believe that many offices, especially in the oil and gas or possibly financial space, have muster points. Muster points are points where, in the event that there's a fire in the building and individuals need to step out of the building, they now congregate at the muster point and take an account of everyone that is within the building, so that we do not lose anyone within the building. So the muster point is very key, and that should not be blocked with maybe debris or equipment or stuff that you put there, because when you now have an incident, where will people actually stand and take head count? So workplace safety is important. In summary, we should be very aware of our surroundings when we get to the office. We should be very alert, both mindfully and physically, to places within the office where there are cables, and ensure that they are covered. And also within the roof, sometimes you have a leaking roof, and you have cables in the roof, and if there's water or it leaks through there, there's a possibility of fire. So this should be attended to quickly. So we should be very alert to such things. We shouldn't just leave it for maybe the facilities guys. Individual or personal workplace safety is also important for us. We should also hold the handrail when we're climbing up or lowering ourselves down the staircase. In the event of a fire alarm, we should congregate at the muster point and ensure that the muster point is also free and void of any traffic, or both human and equipment wise. So just like in the field location where operations are critical and we have safety, at the office environment, our personal and workplace safety is also very key. So those are just a few safety tips on that. So I will now go straight up to the speakers. We have Caleb Oluwaseyi, Ogona Jackson Aja. I'll start with Caleb. Caleb has a huge work experience in the oil and gas industry. His bio is up here. He's currently a senior production engineer in Senzia. Oluwaseyi has a background in chemical engineering and petroleum engineering. He has worked on several projects across Africa, and he's an expert in oil field consulting studies, field development planning, flow assurance studies, well performance analysis, well stimulation and reactivation, reservoir production, surveillance analysis, forecasting, and reporting. His current areas of interest include artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things. He's one of our speakers. The next speaker is Ogona Jackson Aja. He's a data infrastructure engineer with Schlumberger. He has a national diploma and bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering. He has several work experiences, both in the upstream drilling as a drilling engineer and in the downstream in production line operations. He also has experience as a supervisor in technology for web application development, systems analysis, and also development. So having given that brief bio, we'll just move straight up to the webinar presentation. So I'll hand over to Caleb Oluwaseyi and Ogona Jackson to take us through the presentation for today.
Okay, thank you, Anastasia. I hope everyone can hear me. This is Caleb Oluwaseyi. I hope
you can put on your video.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see my video? Okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So you're welcome to this webinar that is talking on the hot topic, AI, which is artificial intelligence, ML, machine learning, and data science skills, and how they can impact your career. So for example, I've been around for a while in the oil and gas industry now. I've worked on various fields in Africa, Middle East, Kuwait, Saudi, Kenya, different places. And my job basically when I came in was production data analysis. You can imagine that was just some years ago how the world has changed. And so I had to analyze production data and do some visualization on the data, trend it, and make inferences and help clients to take decisions concerning field development, reservoir optimization, production optimization, well integrity studies, and so on. So these are what I get from the data that is very, very valuable for our clients. Now, the world is changing and we have new techniques in processing those data and delivering insights and a better decision. We do sometimes we do projects for 6 months, 3 years, and so on. But with AI and ML and data science, things are now done in fact, you need a new set of skills for that same work that I'm doing, despite the fact that you still need the domain knowledge, which is petroleum engineering. You now need to have these skills to help be more productive, to optimize the resources, the data resources, information that is at your disposal. Okay, so when someone hears AI, ML, data science, they don't know the difference. They just think everything is just the same. Everything is about automating things. But you're correct, and you just need more information, and that's what this webinar is going to be delivering to you. Okay, so I'll be doing an introduction in my own part of the webinar and also talking about various industries that AI and machine learning has impacted positively and how you can integrate yourself into this fast changing world. Okay, so I'll be saying some definitions, and I want you to, if you have any questions, just write it down. When it's time for Q&A, we're going to take all the questions. So when I'm done with this set of few slides, introduction slides, I'll hand over to the main speaker, who is a data engineer himself, Shlomi J, and has a lot of experience working in this particular field. So now AI, ML, and data science, they are in the computer science field. So someone that has gone to school to do computer science is better positioned, okay, to easily integrate these skills into their work. But these skills are not only for computer science guys, they are for everybody, whether you are in the oil and gas industry, a geologist, a petrophysicist, or you're an economist, a finance person, or you're in the healthcare industry, you're in the investment industry. In anywhere you need data is the key right now. So let me talk about artificial intelligence. Starting with artificial intelligence is a broad field of computer science, and the aim of this set of skills and techniques is to create machines or systems that can perform tasks that normally machines are not supposed to do because they require human intelligence. Okay, so this is the next stage of the world because with this AI, robotics can do a whole lot that humans are currently doing. And so therefore, we as humans can begin to expand on we can begin to embroaden the horizons of knowledge. Okay, so AI encompasses machine learning. So machine learning is like a subfield in AI. It also involves natural language processing, computer vision, robotics, and so on. So AI is very key to a lot of advancement in research, a lot of new technologies and new areas of knowledge are being discovered in this century, in this season. Okay, so machine learning is a subfield of AI. Okay, so we've moved from AI now to machine learning, and machine learning is a bit specific. Okay, so it narrows down to it focuses on training models. Okay, training machines to learn from data and to improve their performance over time, despite the fact that we did not build those to do those things from the beginning. But as you're giving it more data, you're training the model, it increases its performance over time. So ML algorithms can identify patterns and relationships in your data and be able to generate predictions. It can make predictions and decisions for you, okay, through the data you are feeding into the system. Okay, so ML also, it applies what we call statistical techniques. So in fact, that is the key area of machine learning. Machine learning in the old times in computer science is called statistical models. So it's been around for a long time, but they weren't calling it machine learning. They were calling it statistical models. But now it has advanced. And so we can actually see machines improve over the years with more and more data being fed into it. Okay, so AI is broader than ML. ML is just one of the techniques that we use in achieving autonomous and intelligent mission. So now let's go into data science. Data science is a broad field that combines various skills together, like statistical analysis, just like the machine learning we just talked about, data visualization, data preparation. You've heard of big data, ETL, data analytics. All these things are within the data science ambit, okay? So data scientists use various tools and techniques, methods, okay, to generate machine learning models, data visualization, data mining, extract, transform, and load data into your system, okay? And so now let's try to compare data science and machine learning. So machine learning is a subfield of data science, okay? So when you have prepared the data, then you begin to use those data to build models that can predict. So we've done some of these in a way in our secondary schools and in our university, where you build regression, that is linear models, or we call it linear algebra, y equals to ax plus b, or when it turns into a polynomial model, say ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so you're already building a model from a set of data. That is what machine learning is all about. Okay, and so the more data you feed in, the more is able to generate a regression, a relationship, a correlation between various set of data. And so with that, when new data comes in, you can predict the other missing data. And this has huge impact on every aspect of our life. Okay. Now, I've compared AI to ML and then differentiate ML from data science. Now, what is the difference between AI and data science? Okay, we've said data science is data preparation, statistical inferences that you're generating from the data, and also making decisions based on those data. Now, AI it works based on those results, those deliverables from data science. Then it takes it further, okay? So with AI, you begin to connect these inferences with intelligent machines and make those machines begin to act autonomously, okay? Begin to act independently using various kind of edge intelligence and edge technology. I don't know whether I've entered into edge now. Okay, let me just, the meaning of edge is when you're operating from the source of the data. Okay, the source of data, like I have wells on my field and I have sensors, I have meters, they're reading, taking readings. So at that point, it's called the edge. Now, when those data come into my office, I call it enterprise. And then I take decision from the office and it goes back to maybe shut down a valve or something for safety or for more production. That is, I am taking decision based on the data I've gotten from the edge. But when
sorry to interrupt you, Caleb. Sorry to interrupt you, Caleb. Is it just one slide that we'll be viewing? Are there several slides to elaborate?
This is just the introduction. We are moving to the next slide soon.
Okay, yeah, because
longer,
you're giving us a lot of explanation, and a picture says 1,000 words.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put pictures into some of these illustrations.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
I'm just talking from my own experience as well as trying to explain the concept of the AI, the ML, the data science, and the differences. Okay, so I dabbled into edge, and I know someone will be asking what is edge. So edge is basically things happening, okay, decisions being taken from the edge, that is from where those data are being collected. For example, your meters are reading, okay, that your production is low, you need to increase gas lift into the system. And it does not need to come to you in the office to analyze data and take those decisions. The thing is there on the field is doing the analysis itself and is actually increasing the gas lift input, which increases the production of the oil. Okay, so it's taking those, it has nothing to do with you anymore. The system is optimizing itself automatically, and that's the beauty of where we are going to in this world. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So now we want to look at areas or fields where AI, ML, and data science has really made a lot of impact. Number one is the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry is rapidly changing. We want to move to a point where the oil and gas field is on your system. You can see the entire thing on your computer. We call it digital oil field. And the system is running by itself. It's giving you, maybe you have a field that is producing 10,000 barrels and it keeps producing it consistently for the next 20 years by itself. Okay, that's where we are going to. And so we need a lot of engineers, AI engineers and data science engineers that can set up this system and continue to engineer it, continue to make it function at its peak. Okay, and if there are any bugs, they can quickly fix it within a short turnaround time. And so we're talking about how these skills can virtually affect every aspect, okay, of our industry. Taking, for example, improved decision-making. With data-driven insight, you're not just taking decision based on how you feel or based on, oh, my experience or any of those things. You actually have live data to work with. And now we're moving into real-time optimization, predictive maintenance, predictive analytics. So before things happen, the system can even predict it for you based on the signals that it's getting. So you have a look ahead mode. So you can simulate your system in look ahead mode. And so you buy time 2 hours, 3 hours ahead before evil things happen. And then you can easily prevent them. So we are talking about safety and risk management here. So it's AI, ML, and data science is heavily impacting our oil and gas industry, our finance, our healthcare, our retail industry. And so it's helping the career of the individuals there it helps them increase efficiency and productivity, because tedious tasks that, takes a lot of our time can be automated. And so that you can, spend more time in doing important things and even innovating, doing new things on your job. And also, it can also help improve customer experience, because with AI and machine learning, you can personalize solutions based on client data, based on customer data. You can personalize solutions to them, recommendations to your clients, which will improve the overall customer experience. Okay. Then ultimately, for you as the AI engineer, or even if you're a petroleum engineer with AI and machine learning skills, you can begin to you are there, because there's high demand in the market for this set of skills. You are going to be commanding higher salaries, and this is very evident if we check salary sites like Payscale and Indeed and all that. In fact, the Indians are far ahead of us in this area, because almost all the jobs, so AI jobs and ML jobs, are done by Indians. Okay, so we need to catch up, and you can get remote jobs, global jobs, paid in dollars with this set of skills. Now, let me move on. Let me talk about just two industries, starting with the oil and gas industry. I think I've said something about predictive maintenance. So the industry is always trying to fix one problem that has stopped production, non-productive time. But with machine learning, we can begin to go into the area of predictive maintenance, where a sound that you're getting from a pump can tell you that, oh, in the next 2 hours, this pump will break down. Okay, so before the issue comes up, we've already fixed. Reducing time of equipment failures. It helps you to proactively schedule maintenance, okay, and reduce downtime, and also improve safety of your assets and human life. Also, in the area of exploration, drilling, AI and ML has optimized a lot of processes in drilling, reducing the cost, and even things like seismic data processing are being done even more accurately and rapidly using AI. Although we still need the geoscientist professionals to come in with their domain knowledge in every aspect of these processes. Okay, so let me move to finance. In the area of finance, there are lots of fraud detection and prevention that are being done due to these new technologies, AI and machine learning and data science. Okay, so it's very easy now to deploy solutions that can catch any criminal activity. Also, you can do what we call algorithmic trading. That's for investment. So the finance industry has really been impacted by this by the AI and the ML skills, because a lot of solutions that is helping us to take better decisions in the area of lending, like banks lending people money, financial activities, investment. It has really impacted our finance industry. Sorry. Okay, so another thing is your marketing, customer segmentation. All these things can be done automatically now with AI. You now know, oh, this kind of client, this is what they would prefer, and that's what those are the financial services you recommend for them. Okay, and also process automation. There are a lot of data entry that are being done, reconciliation, accounting, and all that. All these things will be done. AI will balance your account within seconds. It will pick out where there are problems in your account very easily. And so this will make it it will increase productivity. It will improve every aspect of our daily activities and our work. Okay. I think at this point I've covered a lot of the areas in an introductory way. So this is not really in depth. This is introduction. But let me just create an illustration to also drive on what I'm trying to say. Take, for example, you have like your fridge in your kitchen is very is a smart fridge. So it knows how many loaves of bread is in your fridge. It knows how many bottles of milk you have. And so imagine this fridge is able to tell you, send the SMS to you when you're coming back from office that your milk has finished. And so while driving down, you can branch to the supermarket to buy uh, some milk or buy some bread. No, it makes life easier that way. Or we can even take it further. It could be that intelligent to send an order to the supermarket close by. Okay, it sends an order, they charge your credit card, and then they deliver the bread and the milk to you at a certain time, okay, that you have already set. Okay, so the system is so you don't even need to be thinking of bread and milk. It is always available in your house without you even lifting a finger. So that is where we are going with AI and ML. Thank you. I will hand over to Jackson Obuna, who is a data engineer himself, and then he can expand on this topic very, very well for us. Over to you, Anastasia.
Okay, I'm supposed to start?
Yeah, if I can come in now. Yeah, Jackson, I think you should just go right ahead and
Go
continue.
ahead, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just share my screen shortly, if you don't mind. Please confirm when you can see my screen.
Not yet. Okay, it's coming up. Yes, confirm we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. So good day, everyone, and thanks to everybody for making our time to join us today. My name is Jackson Obuna, and as already stated, I'm a data and infrastructure engineer currently working with SLB. I'm going to be expounding on the foundations already laid by Mr. Caleb Oluwaseyi, and basically try to give us more details as to how we can utilize AI, ML, and data science as a whole to have a fruitful career. So this is me interpreting what an impact which is favorable for us would look like, a fruitful career in general, driven by data science. As already introduced, AI, ML, and data science currently has been doing a lot in our lives in general. We have had a whole lot of development in these fields over the past few years that it is now almost impossible for us to see any aspect of our lives where these different fields are not yet encroaching in. And they bring a whole new dimension to how things work in the digital space. In the past, there were things that we couldn't achieve because of compute capacity. But soon enough, we started having larger storage spaces in our computers and stronger processing units. And so we were able to do more. And then came the issue of writing programs and having to revisit the programs to make improvements and solve bugs and all of that. But then that also is slowly getting out of fashion, because at a point in time, it became clear that we could create machines that do not need explicit programming for them to take decisions that the machines that we have today need explicit programming for. I'll expound on that later on during this session. I just wanted to set the grounds for us to move on. Let me briefly touch the definitions, because I like for us to have in view what we are dealing with and have that understanding also at the back of our minds. Data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, these have become buzzwords over the past few years, and it excites a lot of people. Simply put, we can say that data science is the application of math, statistics, and sciences in the study of data. We can also define ML, or machine learning, as a way that machines will learn and perform tasks or take decisions without requiring the developer to explicitly write the code for those decision-making processes, without explicit programming. That's how we put it simply. And then to the final definition, which is for artificial intelligence, which is basically trying to replicate what we have in humans in terms of decision-making in machines. These are the basic, simple definitions that we can give for these terms. And now into the areas that I'm supposed to use to develop our understanding about the impacts that these topics can have on our career in any fields that we decide to apply them. As already established by Mr. Caleb, these three cannot be stated without each other: data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, as they are all related. If you do not have foundational knowledge of data science, you may not be able to do much with machine learning. If you are trying to develop artificial intelligence systems and you do not have the foundational knowledge of either of these two, data science or machine learning, then you'll be unable to achieve what you need to achieve in your artificially intelligent systems. And so, as you already stated, you need ML for AI, as that's a sub of it. There's still a whole lot involved in artificial intelligence, but ML is required. And for you to be able to develop any machine learning algorithms, you need to understand the statistics and the math and apply the required programming knowledge to combine the statistics and the math in a manner that derives insights from data when they are applied. Having established these relationships, now let's go into the adoption. It has already been stated that across different fields, professional fields and otherwise, we have the effect or the impact of AI, ML, and machine learning. For the sake of having a compound term, I'm just going to say AI or artificial intelligence for the rest of this session, since it requires the other two as a foundation. So when I say that, you just know that it involves the whole three. The adoption of AI has been unprecedented in the past few years, and it's not something that has been gradual, because if you check the trend, maybe go back 5 years, that was about 2018. Check how far AI had gone at that time and where it is today. Today, you have the likes of systems that you refer to simply as GPT, and you see the extent to which the capabilities of this particular AI tool, one tool, is able to give us different answers that we seek. It's now a standard for knowledge, AI-driven knowledge. And these were all built on insights derived from data. So in the past few years, the development has been a steep curve within this short period of time. This simply goes to tell you that in the nearest future, I don't think there's any area in whatever field that you will look for AI and not find AI. Based on all indications, AI is going to be the new way that almost everything is done. This just goes to tell you that the adoption will be a universal one, as it already has started to be, as seen clearly in the energy industry. Now, into the main point, career impact dimensions. Now, I decided to phrase it this way because there are two horizons that you can view this particular topic from, the impact on your career from. The first is as a user, and the second is as a developer. So you can either just be someone who uses the tools that come out from the development of AI systems. So you're probably a user of ChatGPT and the likes, OpenAI and what have you. Or you are a developer of these systems. Either way, it's a very rewarding journey. Not just financially, because I know many people, when they say these things, they mention the reward that comes with it. Oh, that you earn in dollars, and it's upwards of $10,000, $15,000, dollars a year. Some people earn as much as $35,000 a year. And it's exciting, you know, the talk about money is quite exciting. But for some of us who have a genuine passion for this, I can assure you that there's no dull day in this field. So there's you have new challenges coming up every day, and some of those challenges, yes, you might have already faced similar things before, so you might just go back and tweak the solution a little bit and apply. But more often than not, you have to develop a completely different system to solve those challenges. And so it is never a dull day in these areas. Now, let me tackle it from the two perspectives. First, as an AI user. So as an AI user, you use systems like, let's say, the SLB. There's a platform offered by SLB, which is called Delphi, which is essentially SLB's cloud offerings for different applications for so in different domains, people who are geoscientists, geophysicists, and what have you, drillers, have different offerings on Delphi. On Delphi, you have Delphi built, you have Delphi supported or in the background infused with AI. And what this means for users of Delphi or users of applications on Delphi is that life becomes easier. And so this is what it entails for you as a user of AI systems. Life becomes easier in general for you. So things that you would normally have to go through unnecessary stress to achieve, with AI as a tool on the side while carrying out your domain workflows, you are able to do them seamlessly and without stress. And if you ask me, this is extremely important. Let me give you an instance. If as a drilling data expert, so you're a drilling data expert on your team, and each time there's a drilling operation going on, and you have to support real time. So when there's let's say MWD or LWD data coming in, your tool will malfunction. Sorry, that's the term. Every now and then, either due to wrong calibration of does the tool is faulty or it encounters some extreme conditions in the subsurface, and then it causes you to receive ridiculous data. The actual term in data science practice would be outliers. You might decide, okay, let me just delete this. So you delete it and you throw it away. Of course, it's useless data, and so you can't use it. So you just throw it away, and you're doing that manually. What if you train AI to detect these things and help you discard them? And that is unnecessary stress being removed, because that particular thing in the first place is not the job. Nobody will employ you to just go and be looking for when there'll be something that happens occasionally and sifting through records, thousands of records, looking for them one by one. But AI can easily achieve that for you, and you focus on the task at hand. Let me give another scenario. If let's assume that you are whatever official position that you handle in the office, and occasionally there are spam emails coming into your inbox. Maybe we all know the current situation globally with cyber security and cyber threats, and one of the most prevalent is phishing. You receive thousands of emails every day. Some companies, I can tell you nowadays, receive not thousands, millions of phishing emails per day. And then we hire a cybersecurity expert and say, please, you as our cybersecurity expert, sift through every of these emails that come into the company's email server, look for each of them that is spam. We will train you to recognize spam emails. So in each of them, open them and check. First of all, it's not very ethical, because emails should be private to the receiver. And just because you're a cybersecurity expert doesn't give you the the audacity to start opening everybody's email. But because you know the threat it poses to the company, you might have to do that. But are you even capable of sifting through hundreds of thousands of emails every single day? How much backlog will you end up having in 2 days, in just a 2-day period? Okay, and so you see how much unnecessary stress that you will have to go through. But with AI, you are able to automate these spam detection processes, phishing detection process, and immediately not just detect, but also perform an action like sending into the spam box or complete deletion. When you do something like this, it helps you eliminate unnecessary stress and reduce the time that is required to deliver your tasks. Okay, so that as a professional, you become a lot more productive. Productivity goes high. So that is one of the immediate effects on your career, productivity. So if you check that you are now being productive, your company realizes that this person is productive, it tells on your competency. So if you are able to achieve something that's required of you in a shorter period of time, more responsibilities might now be thrown your way, which could mean more remuneration. And so the financial aspect of it is, which is very rich, is clearly visible right from there. Okay, and these continue to impact your career positively, giving you career growth. So the thing about efficiency, improving your performance, career growth, financial growth as well in your financial reward, which is one thing that every professional goes into the field, into practice for, becomes a reality in your career. And one thing that stands out each time, which we will look at in the next. So you have been telling me all of these things about what happens to my career when I become an AI practitioner. But how do I start? I'm already a professional, okay? And I'm doing a whole lot in my practice as a professional. What exactly do I do? How do I, gain the required skills with the limited time I have to deliver my own, responsibilities as a professional? We'll look into that briefly in the coming bullet point. Now that was just introducing the dimension of you being a user. Now let's go into the dimension of you being a developer, an AI developer. So first off, and what stands out a lot for me is you deriving fulfillment. Now, as an AI developer, you get to solve real life problems. It's not that as an AI user, you don't solve real life problems, because you do. Okay, you do. However, it is more likely than that you will be required to create novel solutions. That's solutions that never existed in the past, and now exist, and you are required to provide solutions for. So you develop systems from scratch, both from getting the data, pre-processing this data, taking them through all the data wrangling processes, and essentially understanding the data. This, of course, will come after you've understood the problem. And finally, after understanding the data and understanding the problem, you begin to apply math, statistics, and the science behind the problem to solve that problem and make it available for users. So the first thing is excitement. So I'm usually very excited when I get to see new things every time I do, because you have to be up to date. And that's one other good thing. It's a point on its own, but I'll bring it in here, is learning new things every single day. So you get a certain knowledge, and that knowledge is new to you. However, it's old to someone else. And even that new knowledge that you've gotten might be a new knowledge, but it's actually an old version of that new knowledge. So you're probably looking at version 1.2.1 and you're good at it now. Whereas for you to be fully up to date, you're supposed to be looking at version 1.2.5 or 8. And so you're always on your toes, learning, growing. That to me is very interesting. I can assure you that I will not trade that for anything. So if this is what if you're someone who is passionate about it, then there is never a dull moment for you, and you will enjoy every single moment of it. Now, of course, which is not so important, but I mean it's very important to a lot of people, and quite frankly, so especially considering the situation of things, is the financial reward. Okay, no need to beat it too much. The reward is high, okay? And I mean, it keeps improving with your experience and your expertise as you improve. Another very important thing that you gain on your career as an AI developer is a global reach. This is more often than not elusive to a lot of people when they are beginning. And the reason why it is, I think, based on my understanding, is they have not yet understood that these problems that they are facing are novel, so they are new. And the community is quite small, not that there are no large number of practitioners, because there's a whole lot of people in the field now of AI, even though there's still room for more. But what it means that it's a small community is how interlinked everyone is. So when you develop a solution of a novel problem that you've just faced, there are many platforms for you to publish it. And what this means is someone who is in Asia, someone who is in Europe, someone who is in whatever continent, whatever part of the world you can think about, will have access to that. Of course, if you decide to make it open source, okay, which is usually encouraged as a newbie, that you make most of your solutions open source. I'm not saying you should not commercialize them when you see opportunity to do so, but it's more often advised that you announce yourself in that way. And what this means is you are visible globally. So your career progression is global, and you are working in Nigeria for a company in Europe or in the United States or somewhere around the world, and you do not even have to travel. Okay, this still brings those added impacts like lower carbon footprint. So because you do not have to commute, you are saving the environment. Okay, emissions on your end are lower. And still dwelling on carbon emissions, AI systems have been proven to cut down significantly on carbon systems. On carbon emissions. The workings of that is a talk for another day. However, if you carefully do your research, you will find out how AI systems, the systems themselves, I'm not saying how they are solving carbon emission challenges. I'm saying how those solutions themselves require less carbon-based energy, carbon energy that emits carbon, you know, into the atmosphere, how much less that they utilize, they do that. Okay, so you are not just impacting your career, but you're also impacting indirectly the environment around you, which is everybody in the end. Because I mean, if there's no world which is conducive for everybody to live in, then there's no, I mean, no place for you to practice in the first place, or for anybody to be happy. So these are some of the impacts that AI can have on your career, both as a user and as a developer. Now, to the famous question, where to start? And this, more often than not, comes from the AI users, which I've experienced personally. A couple of people walking up to me to ask me how I transitioned, or do they even have to transition, you know, where to start, even if they want to not transition, or they want to transition completely. Now, as a user, you have your domain workflows. That's your basic responsibility to your organization. And that is very time consuming. We know, so it's really what you go to work to do. And so how much time do you have? Because you are working and delivering on your duties, whilst you are also required to improve in your domain knowledge. That's the knowledge of the field where your skills are required. So you need to keep improving on those. And then someone is telling you that AI is the future, and using it will make your life much easier, give you a faster career progression, give you more career fulfillment and all that. And it sounds all good, but where do you start? And I simply just tell them time management, okay? And I have to be sincere and not make it seem very easy. Because let's look at a typical Nigerian professional lifestyle, and of someone who lives in Lagos. So let's look at the Lagos situation, and I'll take myself as an example. So you wake up 5 a.m., target to be in the office by 7 a.m. or 7:30. Worst case scenario. I mean, that's for me. And so you are already not getting a lot of sleep. And you get to the office, say 7:30, maybe you've gone through some stress in traffic. But I mean, if you leave as early as that, you rarely face traffic. So, but you get to the office, and then you have to set up and start working through the office hours, and then you're done at 5 p.m. and you have to go back home. And there's no escaping traffic in this case, because it's rush hour, everybody's on the road. So you're back on the road, and you spend some hours on the road, and then you're back home, let's say 7:30-ish p.m. And you have to shower, do dinner, maybe stay with your family. If you have kids, you have to interact with your kids, provide some family, some time for your family. And then maybe eventually have to go to sleep at maybe 10, so that you can wake up early enough to start the whole cycle again. So in that whole thing, where is the time for self-development? And that's where the sincerity comes into play. You have to go through sacrifice. What sacrifice are we talking about? Of your time, your effort, your strength. So you have to push yourself. But this doesn't mean that you have to work yourself out, have to, break down at some point in time. No. If you do effective time management, out of all that your day, I don't know how, I just give an example of mine, how the day goes for you, you'll be able to allot a certain amount of time for studies, and then have a measurable achievement that you hope to derive from that particular study. And based on that, you try and achieve that every single day, and gradually you build. Time management. What do you need when we are talking about this AI thing? What do you need? What do you need? So yes, I can do time management. I can bring out some time. So where do I start? Basically, as a developer, you will need programming knowledge, core programming knowledge. You can decide to go with R, or even better, you can decide to go with Python. But as a user, you do not need programming knowledge, at least not in depth. There are systems that we call low to no code systems, which are available nowadays. It's one of the examples of such systems is on Delphi data science application. This system uses visual programming. So you are able to use code that's already there in the background, but you never have to interact with the code itself, like write the code itself, but it's in the background. All you're doing is dragging and dropping and basically configuring folders, use this folder, get this data from this folder, and I said you do not need to have the knowledge as a user. And so that you are exempt from that if being a user is your aim. But then if you being a developer is your aim, you can't escape that. You have to get the knowledge in programming. You may just need Python or R if you decide, but to make yourself a little, which is more often the reality, because you will never just get one programming language and that's it. No. So more often than not, you'll find yourself having to do Python and Java. And then for interacting with the databases, you need to have knowledge of SQL. And you don't just get SQL because there are different database server systems that you could have Oracle or Microsoft SQL, or you could have MySQL, you could have Postgres, MongoDB. And so there's a variety of them. You must at least have one or two of those database, system knowledge for your use so that you can interact effectively with databases. And I'll just leave it there for the programming aspect. The second part, which is for both dimensions, which is as a user and as a developer, is data, understanding data. So you are going to be, even as a developer, even as a user, you're going to be building your systems on data. You probably work on drilling data. So as the drilling data comes in, you have to plug it into a system. You have to understand this data. Of course, you are in the drilling domain, so you know what each what each field of each record stands for. Good and fine, correct. However, there are certain principles which are mostly founded on statistics that will make you a little bit more effective. There are also certain math principles that will make you a little bit more effective when you handle the data. And so even when you're working in low to no code environments, what you need to apply to that data to achieve a certain result. For instance, if you know that you cannot experience, let's say, above 800 PSI of pressure at a certain depth, and you are getting 5,000 psi of pressure at that particular depth, you know this is an outlier. You have that in mind because you understand that statistical principle. And so what do you do with this outlier? You know, it becomes something that you need to think about, figure out. But you have to first understand the statistical principles. Okay, what even makes this an outlier in the first place? Because you understand the data and you understand statistical principles. You understand what to that in that drag and drop situation of visual programming, you know how to drag and drop what on the data to achieve, maybe has removed that outlier data. And that's what you have to do on the data. So you have to understand the data together with statistical and mathematical principles that you need to apply to it. So if in your current field, you do not really have maybe you studied political science, for instance, and for some reason you have dabbled into the use of AI for your everyday work, you still need some good knowledge, at least some foundational knowledge of statistics and math. And that's something that you have to do for yourself. So that's, I think, number 3. And finally, constant practice. There's something called muscle memory. And I can tell you from experience that there's almost too much to know in this field, almost too much to know in this field. And almost all the items in this too much I'm talking about, you will need to use them at some point in time. You need to apply them, whether as a developer or as a user. And so thinking about it is overwhelming. So what do? You might now have to start trying to memorize it, and you can't do that. It's impossible for you to do that. So what do? You have to now develop means to practice over and over again, even when you are not actually doing, using it for your work. This also has to do with time management, which is up to you. So you devote some time to practice over and over again. So I've spoken a lot, and I am going to conclude here with this particular word. Now, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, obviously, as stated, have the capacity to make someone's career in a more interesting and fulfilling one, whilst facilitating growth and groundbreaking discoveries. And quite frankly, it's up to you to drive it yourself. Thank you very much. And I hope I've been able to give us some ample understanding of this. I'll now accept questions.
Thank you so much, Caleb and Jackson. That was quite insightful. Thank you so much. So I'm sure the audience has been itching to ask questions. You can actually drop, a participant can actually drop their question in the chat box, or you can just unmute your mic and speak up. Okay, before the questions are asked, I'll just give a summary of what we heard from Caleb and Jackson. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science are the new, it's not like it's new, but it's a globally accepted way of interpreting data and also making it very accessible for professionals. And it involves the use of unique set of skills for data analysis, Then the skills required are for data resource optimization. Then it also involves an integration of artificial intelligence, data science, and machine learning. And it expands, that is the impact of these data science tools expands beyond oil and gas into finance, economics, and even in the healthcare system. So what it does is that the systems create an enabling environment for, especially artificial intelligence, for robotics to be used. Then machine learning focuses on training machines to learn from the data that we impute from them. And the machine learning also has algorithms that identify patterns and relationships in data, so that this enables us to provide statistical models within our professions for assessing and also reading data to provide some interpretation. So the full discussion came with Jackson, where we talked about the relationship between the three of them, that is artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, how they are adopted into our various professions, be it oil and gas, healthcare, or economics, and how these systems extract data and make it easy for us to have more productivity on our jobs. Then the career impacts were enormous, but I just managed to pick a few, where he mentioned that in situations where we have outliers in our data sets, we can actually program the data such that you can extract and you can program it to remove the outliers, so that we can have a clean data set for our interpretation. Then we can also troubleshoot phishing, which is a common hack that gets into a lot of companies these days. It rolls into millions and millions of dollars when it comes to when there's actually an intrusion into your company system. Then the advantage of having this data science skills gives us a global reach, so that rather, even though you're here in Nigeria, in Africa, you could actually be working globally and your skills are accepted globally. And he also mentioned that the Indians have overtaken in that space, and they have a lot of them on ground. And then it is an environment that allows us, especially especially in the event that we want a global experience in our professions, it allows us to have that experience. So they also told us how to start. It might not be easy given our busy schedules, but if you have the discipline and time management, you could actually achieve good program learning. And that now we have simpler visual programs that we can just drag and drop and then create what we require for our systems to work efficiently for us and give us good productivity. So that's just a summary. I'm sure you got more of the meat during the webinar session. So I would like Akambi, you raised your hand before Abbas. You can ask your question. You can mute your mic and ask your question.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for organizing this. Thanks to SPE Lagos for organizing this meeting. My name is Rokiv Akombi. I'm a final year geology student of Federal University of Technology, Mina. And during this period in which I'm staying at home before resuming back for my final year, so I've subjected myself to learning this program, leveraging Udacity, Coursera, YouTube, and One Campus. And I have some basic understanding of Python, SQL, Excel. So I just want to ask that, does SLB offer any kind of maybe public access or any kind of freemium access to the SLB DeFi learning platform or training for students, so that I can use that as well to own my skills? So this question is being directed to Mr. Caleb Uluwaseyi. And I also want to ask him that, is there any difference between data science and data analytics? So, and my last question will be directed to Mr. Jackson Ogbonna, that apart from leveraging the digital learning platform to learn these skill sets, so what can we do in order to become an expert in the field, apart from having the certificate, having the knowledge? Is that just the last thing for us to do that? What are the things to do to up our game and become a global citizen? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ambassador. This is Caleb, yeah. So, you asked, is the Delphi environment open to students and just general users outside?
Yes, sir.
I don't know anyone that is open, but in the past years, SLB usually have what we call Ocean, where we, give these tools to the university. So it's being deployed in your university, not really to the public. And students can do programming like hackathon and generate plugins for the various domain programs or domain applications like Petrel. They can deploy them, and this can also be imputed into the main program. And over the years, it's been a success. So I'm pretty sure with time, because Delphi, it's new, and although it's not really new, but it's still new. And then with time, they'll be deploying Delphi into the university. And in case it's already deployed, and anyone from SLB or Jackson in the web, like it's already been deployed to the universities, can also let me know about that. But when I just joined the company, I was part of the Ocean Games, where various universities come together and they pitch their plugins that they've developed that can interact, that can be used on the SLB application. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Difference between data analysis and data science. So data science is broader, while data analysis is where you're doing more of data visualization. Okay, and getting those that's inferential deductions from the data that helps you to take those decisions. That's the area of data analytics. So it's basically analyzing the data, charting it and putting it on some box plots, histogram, to be able to get those necessary information from the data. So that's the data analysis view. Why the data science involves everything, involves the preparation of data, involves the engineering of data, doing many things, manipulation of the data, and also even the data analysis part, it also involves the data type. Okay. So did I miss any question that I addressed to you? If not, I might pass it to Jackson.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Caleb. So yeah, just to add to what you have said, the Delphi platform has what we refer to as the developer portal. The Delphi developer portal is SLB's openness framework, where you can, not as an individual, because I know it's not yet open to individuals. It's all, I know that it's currently commercial, so independent software vendors can register on the Delphi developer portal to basically develop applications to extend the Delphi environment. But like Mr. Caleb rightly mentioned, since SLB has already always been known to work with academia, there's a high likelihood that soon it will be open to academia. So maybe that's when you can then access the extensibility of the Delphi environment. Now, for your other question about what you can do apart from getting the certificates and skills to become a global practitioner, I stated it partially during the discussion session, which is to work on projects to carry out these, to solve these problems are also out there. Okay, one of the, I mean, you probably already know about Kaggle, Kaggle. Anybody in the data science field at a point in time was getting all his data from Kaggle. So, and it's not just Kaggle out there. So you can do research on those platforms where you can get your data and solve those problems, solve them and make them open source, put them out there free of charge. Okay, do as many of them as possible so that soon you'll start seeing that your work being utilized in different places. And that's how you get yourself known. That's how you become this global, practitioner that you wish to be. I hope that is enough for enough answer for you. Thank
you. Does that speak to your, does that, so we have Abbas, your hand is raised, and then we also have a comment in the chat box after Abbas.
Okay, good afternoon. Please confirm you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, Abbas, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so a quick one. I think I would like to start from the last point you mentioned about Kaggle. I was going to ask, there has been, should I say, some takes by some people or by some professionals within the field that Kaggle, the time you spent on Kaggle doing projects might not actually translate to you performing well on the job, right? So for instance, you have done great in maybe some competitions on Kaggle, and then maybe you are being hired on the corporate level to actually do some industry realistic projects, right? Well, I've not gotten to that level, but I expect that from what you've mentioned so far, you should have some experience about this. Does this actually play out? Do you think it's actually worthwhile spending time and actually doing projects on Kaggle? And then, of course, in the long run, you would gain much more value, or now you can translate the skills and knowledge you have learned doing that and then replicate them on the job, on your job, basically. And then I was also going to ask if you could share some resources about how you can keep working within the energy sector while also being an AI or ML expert and then getting jobs remotely outside the country with foreign firms. Thank you.
Is that for me or Mr. Caleb?
Yeah, Jackson, you can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, so for Kaggle, it's just one of them, by the way. There are a couple of them that you can get data from, and either decide to work on the projects on Kaggle or do it privately and publish it in different platforms. But for the question of whether it's worthwhile and whether I can translate into a fruitful use of your skills in actual practice, I would say a resounding yes, because I mean, I'm a data and infrastructure engineer, and data. So what this means is data science is a sub of what I do. But anybody, at least who started as I did, who came up during my time, I don't know about I mean, and so my time is, if I'm saying my time, is not like it's 1 million years ago. It's very recent. So anybody who even you can just ask in the data science, environment, will tell you that at some point in time when they were starting, Kaggle was their go-to place, or any other platform of the sort. Okay, so I'm assuming that your question stems from domain-specific solutions, like you are working on something like, let's say you see the projects that you see there are mostly maybe cancer detection or traffic light control, and maybe in the agriculture sector, like weed detection and all that. And you are saying, oh, these are not industry related. So how does it, what it does is it gives you the problem solving, mindset of a data scientist. I'll explain it this way. So whatever problem you are going to be solving in the oil and gas industry, in the energy industry in general, or in any other data science related field, really, will have a root cause. And what you are training machines to do is to look for that root cause, understand that root cause, and identify it in any other place it sees it in data. So when you've been in that particular area for a long time, and then you find yourself in the energy industry, of course, you need to have domain expertise of whatever. If you're going in as a reservoir engineer, you should have some reservoir engineering expertise, because when you actually write code to, let's say, do productivity index calculation, you will still need to have the formula of productivity index calculation in your head, okay, that you now translate into code. And that's where the domain expertise come into play. But when it comes to handling that data, from retrieving the data, doing some data wrangling operations on the data, and extracting insights from that data, it is the experience that you got from practicing on Kaggle that you will use. Okay, so I hope that answers your question.
Abbas,
Yeah.
does it answer the question?
Yes, but I think you've not answered the second one, but the
Okay,
remote job.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I almost missed that. Okay, for the remote job opportunities, now there's a lot of them. Of course, apart from the obvious that you can always find them, there's a whole bunch of them on LinkedIn. And one thing I noticed about LinkedIn is these companies actually monitor you. Okay, I can tell you as a personal experience, some mails that I've received from companies I didn't even know. It's when you now Google the company, visit the company website, you realize, oh, these people are an AI, company. That means they monitor, they watch out, okay, for your work. They try to see what you do. And this goes without saying that you must have something that they can see when they come after you. And that's how you get, remote opportunities. But apart from LinkedIn, there is a whole lot of remote working platforms nowadays you get to sign up on. And of course, they more often than not require that you solve some problems and some challenges here and there. But there's Upwork, I think, is one of them, and there are a few of them that maybe when I think them up, I'll either put them on chat, or you will find a way to get them over to you on email, or you can just Google them. You sign up on platforms, update file as much as required, and look out for those opportunities. I can assure you that there's no shortage of opportunities in this area. It's still a fresh field, and more manpower is needed.
Yes, look out for SLB as well. SLB has been doing a lot of employment for data science guys, AI guys, and also crossover. So you can look out for crossover. There are just many jobs on data science. Okay, so it's a fruitful ground.
Okay, Caleb and Jackson, there's a question or a comment in the chat box. I'll read it out. It's from Osazwa Omorube. He said, thanks a lot for the insights. With a whole lot AI coming on board so regards their job security. I perceived AI coming with excess doom if not properly managed. Nigeria as a country should be careful to accept things because we're not yet there as a country. We shouldn't come and kill people with things like these. Other countries did not use AI to get to where they are, so why do we want to jump and later become victims? Can so take example from cashless society, so see where we are. Just an opinion anyway, and I don't mean to be a negative person to development as such, but the pace we're going can be very disastrous if not guarded. Again, the person says AI goes beyond data. Data, there's a whole lot we are not told. We're on the surface. The human mind control along intelligent Internet of Things, which goes contrary to the divine will of God, supremacy, and his children. I believe that as data guys, you would have picked how to respond to this question. So can you give us a response to that comment?
Okay, let
I'll
me
break it down. I see 3 or 4 facts that the person is stating and how it impacts on the society, Nigeria, and the risk. So over to you.
Okay, so so from my point of view, and when we look at history, advance in technology has made life of people easier. So with AI, we can produce more food, we can produce more cars at cheaper cost, we can produce things. So things are going to be cheaper, life is going to be easier. You don't have to work so much to get those things that you're working so hard to get right now. Okay, by the time AI, so there are lots of benefits. To AI, jobs will be created. And so, in fact, you won't lack jobs basically because there are now new areas where you can innovate as a human being, allow the machines do what they can do. Take, for example, cars. It takes a lot of people to produce cars many years ago. And even up to now, we are not even producing cars in Nigeria at the scale at which we need to. Okay, so, but robotics have taken over the automotive industry. Robotics are turning out thousands of cars per day. Okay, and that is really helping in ensuring that people have cars to use, and the car you're using could even be more expensive than what it is currently, even not for those advanced technologies and robotics. So I see this as God's blessing. So everything is how you see it, where you see it from. And remember that every knowledge, okay, wisdom that man has comes from God. Okay, so whether they use it for evil, somehow God blesses people with knowledge. Okay, Jackson, over to you.
So yeah, so I mean, your concerns are not unfounded. I mean, they're not without a proper reasoning behind. Because I can tell you, I've once had to think about it a little bit. Like, you are creating AI. If for instance, you deploy an AI system on a particular server somewhere in Europe, and the AI keeps learning and realize that it can replicate itself across different regions, and just keep its consciousness sleeping in different or just learning without acting in different regions, and then starts executing some evil plan at some point in time, and people say, oh, this thing is getting out of hand, and they go and shut down the whole data center thinking that they have killed it, and simply all it's doing is it's just going to revive when that one notices that this is down, and then it comes up, and so you can't kill it anymore. Okay, so I've checked all of these at some point in time. I've just brought out a scenario that played in my head. And even though it's sounding like science fiction, this thing is not difficult to implement. Okay, it's not difficult to implement in an AI system. Okay, but what is the end of it? It's the creators of those systems. It's you and me. Okay, so even those systems that are not built on AI, if the creators of those, is it not systems that people built that they are using to dupe people every now and then, sending fake alerts and all that? It was still built by human beings. That person probably built it for a more fun purpose, but then it's being used for negative purposes. So if you are going to be the one that will build an AI governance system that's universal, I mean, then you are what's the solution to this whole thing that you are envisioning, okay? And it has to be pushed on. That's why we need people in governments that enforce the right policies, because governments are the ones that can control in the end all of these things, okay? Because when the governments create policies that regulate these sectors correctly, then things will definitely go how they are supposed to go. As you've thought about this as a problem, you'll probably be able to use even AI to solve it. Okay, so thank you.
Last question from Emeke Chukwu, and that's the last question we'll take. Abbas, do you still have a question? Can we lower
Yeah,
your hand?
mine is not really a question, but just to allay the fear of the guys who think AI is going to be used for some other negative stuff. So basically, AI, this is not just the first time we're having AI. I think probably the scale at which it's advancing is what is creating this attention. But beyond that, well, like Jackson earlier said, you use it for both the bad things and then the good things also. You see the visible results. Over time, it is now left for governments and nations to come up with regulatory policies to put some of these negative side effects in check. But that is going to stop, is not going to stop. We are spending a lot of manpower in doing stuff that some of these machines should have done for us. And recall also that the human mind is so complex to the extent that we are probably underutilizing our brain capacity. So AI is just helping out. So what that means is that we'll continue to have that opportunity to showcase our qualities and talents in a larger scale. That is what AI is all about. And it's important we all embrace it now. The oil and gas industry, fortunately, have been one of the highest consumer of tech, right, in our environment. Tech has always been with us in the industry. So it is important that the modern student now, embrace it, or else you wake up one day, you discover that you are completely out of this world. You are no longer relevant, both to the course you studied in school and to the environment you are living. So it's either you are doing AI or you are doing IoT or you are doing cloud computing or you are doing the analytics. You must play in any of these areas, irrespective of what you read in school. All right, thank you.
Okay, thanks for Abbas for that clarification. So Emeke Chukwu, that's the last question we're taking.
No,
Yeah, that was a
that was Emeke Chukwu.
misunderstanding.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Emeke Chukwu. All right, thanks everyone. Odion, you can put on the slides again. Thanks, Caleb. Thanks, Jackson, for that insightful discussion on the data science skills. So I'll call on Oluwabi.
No, I said just carry on and read the announcement.
All right. How about Priscilla? Is she not making a comment again? Is she on?
No. Just carry on and close.
All right. Okay. Okay. So we just have a few announcements. Introduce a girl to Engineering Day, which will hold on the 22nd of February. Then locating the remaining oil in the brownfield. That's going to be on March 2nd. And then the YP Virtual Vision Board event is going to take place on the 4th of March. SPE at 50 is coming up on the 21st to 26th March. It's SPE at 50. We are celebrating 50 years of outstanding SPE activities in Lagos, and it's going to be from Friday till Sunday. And we have a golf tournament, we have a YP networking cocktail, we have technical lecture, we have a football match, then we have a banquet and launch of our own scholarship award fund at the 50th anniversary of SPE Section 61 Lagos. So these are the posters, and they'll be circulating for us to be encouraged to, especially on the Own Scholarship Award, which is going to be part of SPE. So it gives undergraduate male and female students a chance to get scholarships, and also a reminder to renew our SPE membership today. So, Odeon, I believe that those are the announcements we have. So there are different platforms you can connect with us. We have SPE Lagos section on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Those are the links. And just to remind you that we are SPE and we're there for you. So on the right, we have our section admin, Odeon. That's the email address and contact number. We have LC Ezinwane, that is for membership. Adewale Oguneye, also for membership. These are their emails and contact numbers. So we really appreciate everyone that managed to stay to the end of the webinar. And we'll have a photo session. So at this point, we would like everyone to put on their cameras so that we can take our photo session. Just switch on your cameras, everyone. I see we're 24 on. So if you just open your cameras, let's see your faces. Thank you. So Odeon, you let us know. Emeke, can you put on Emeke Chukwu, Emmanuel, Stevens, Komolafe? There are quite a number of us. Let's not be camera shy.
All right, put on your cameras, please. And if you have put on your camera, put on your smiling face. Are there a few of us that are still doing touch-up?
As long as we're not wearing our pajamas, you can put on your cameras.
Okay, I think I get the call now that someone has finished with her foundation, and yeah, you just give her 2 seconds, and yeah, we can go taking the pictures.
Jackson, you're looking too serious.
All right, so let's click away. Thank you. Okay, all right, I'm just clicking. Okay, so let's do the SPE oil and gas. You know the drill. You just do thumbs up and we say oil and gas. Okay, SPE.
Oil and gas.
Oil and gas.
Let's do it one more time. SPE.
Oil and gas.
All right, thank you. That's all. That's from me. All from me. Anastasia, over to you. Close the meeting and we should be good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll do a vote of thanks. Vote of thanks, first of all, to our present speakers, Kayla Boluwashei and Jackson Ebona, both from Schlumberger, for giving us this insightful webinar. I want to thank our program chair and our SPE section chair, that's Oluwabi, and also Mrs. Priscilla Nwere. I also want to appreciate Odeon and the rest of, I saw Uju on the call. I want to appreciate Uju, is our secretary, and all the board members present and those who were not able to join us. I'm sure they had reasons for not being here, but I'm sure they would have loved to be part of this. So thank you, participants, and I believe that we'll take every lesson here learned and also enable the artificial intelligence and data science skills development within the industry in the different aspects. So I wish you all the best of luck and a very good week ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, just before we go, sorry to intrude. I saw a former council chair on the call, Mr. Joe Wankwe. Yeah, so Anastasia, you can go ahead and thank him for attending this webinar as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Joe, for attending. Sorry, I missed that. I didn't see But it's always good to have our passionate volunteers join, even though they are not part of the current year. It shows that we have a lot of support and we'll continue to do well, especially with people like you backing us. Thank you, Mr. John.
Thank you, Gajo. Good to see you.
Okay.
All right, this link is going down now in 3 seconds. Thank you everyone for joining. Look out for the next webinar.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.